Lawbert type people approach stuff like this is always like, well, he could have been in the right. What then? You know, it's always like this hypothetical of what if he wasn't in the wrong?
5 minutes later.
He's about to do exactly what I just said 5 minutes ago, where it was like, imagine if he wasn't in the wrong. Okay, so and this brings us to the Karmelo Anthony stuff. This is why I say he's crashing out, because he getting accosted about all the Israel Netanyahu stuff, and then he decides he's going to like pour fuel on the fire by coming out in defense of Karmelo Anthony. This is Jacob Wells. This is the CEO of GiveSendGo. People have been asking this guy, why don't you take down that guy's fundraiser? He's a murderer. You shouldn't be able to profit off of that. Take it down. And Jacob Wells says, people are mad about our stance to allow Karmelo Anthony family a campaign on GiveSendGo, and I get it. It is a horrible situation. There are even calls for a boycott. But because I know a similar scenario will happen again for someone on the right, and our competitor won't allow them a campaign, even though it is a legal endeavor, people will be back to using GiveSendGo because we are the only fundraising platform that truly stands on freedom and principle. Okay, but the kid's fucking guilty, dude. Who are we kidding? This isn't some like gray area. Well, maybe it was self-defense. Maybe the white kid said the N-word. He should get a fair trial. No, he should get a quick trial and then be executed, and his family shouldn't get a bunch of money. Tim Pool quote tweets it and he says, I'm confused by this story. Are we against self-defense now? Not even taking the sort of kind of plausible defense that the other guy is taking, where he's saying, well, look, man, everybody's entitled to a trial. This guy's entitled to raise money for his defense. Tim Pool's just like, this kid's innocent. He was defending himself. Why are people mad about that? Tim Pool always does this kind of like low quality bait shit. Like, he's sort of infamous on Twitter, but I don't think he realizes that you can get away with this when people like you, but the less and less people are liking you, the more you can't just say shit. You can't just like troll like this and expect people to like give you the benefit of the doubt. And so then he doubles down and he says, everyone else is right. I was wrong. The moment politicians put up a sign saying no weapons, any use of a weapon in that space is murder, no matter what. Our right to bear arms ends where people vote. Basically, people will make the argument that you're not allowed to have knives at school or weapons in general, which is true. You're not allowed. And Tim Pool's like, oh yeah, you're right. If it's illegal to have a weapon, it's not self-defense. None of this is relevant because it wasn't self-defense, because they weren't trying to no one was attacking him. He was being removed from a place where he wasn't supposed to be. Rightfully so. It's very telling that you see Tim Pool doing this shit, whereas Matt Walsh, as soon as this happened, just immediately like put out a hella based tweet about how violent black youths are. And he's like, why can't we talk about how violent and these people are? Right? That's the correct reaction. Karmelo Anthony essentially was resisting arrest. It wasn't arrest, it was removal from the premises, but basically the same thing. He was in the wrong, and you don't get to violently murder people when you're in the wrong because they're trying to correct your wrongs. It just doesn't work that way. The way people like Tim Pool and these Lawbert type people approach stuff like this is always like, well, he could have been in the right. What then? You know, it's always like this hypothetical of what if he wasn't in the wrong? Like, it doesn't matter, dude. That would be different. That would be a different situation then. On his last show, Tim Pool argued that 17-year-old Austin Metcalf being stabbed to death was likely justifiable self-defense. What an awful take. It's extremely unlikely that Karmelo Anthony is going to be found not guilty. Basically 0% chance of that, virtually, unless they're able to completely fucking stack the jury full of bleeps. There's no way this dude's getting off. I don't think he's going to get nearly as harsh of a sentencing as he deserves, but that's a separate matter.
There was an argument between Karmelo Anthony, who was from a rival school, who was there, and there were a bunch of kids from this town or whatever. And they got into an altercation. They told him he wasn't supposed to be there. Apparently they had words. Carmelo Anthony pulled a knife out from his bag and said, "Touch me and see what happens." Witnesses said either he was touched or grabbed. They were different witness accounts, but that Austin Metcalf...
He didn't pull the knife out. Right, so he was like, touch me and see what happens, and he like went into his bag to grab something. If you actually read the story, but he didn't pull the knife out. If he pulled the knife out, probably they wouldn't have put their hands on him, right? They'd be like, "Oh, this guy's fucking crazy. Call the police or something," right? But he didn't show them the knife. He said, "Touch me, see what happens," and they got sick of his bullshit. So Austin is like, all right, man, get the fuck out of here!" Like, and then he stabbed him to death. He wasn't brandishing the knife, Tim.
Did put hands on Carmelo, who then stabbed him once in the chest before running away. According to police, Carmelo Anthony, when he got apprehended or turned himself in, however the story goes, I mean, different accounts, he asked if Austin was going to be okay and said it was self-defense. He said he grabbed me and I said self-defense. The family is arguing it was self-defense. It's strange to me that with this story, the right is adamant that this kid just killed another kid and he should go to prison forever. And I'm like,
yeah, because
we don't even know what happened. Like,
we do know what happened. What happened is almost exactly what you just said, except the only really relevant thing he got wrong was saying that the kid was brandishing the knife. That didn't happen. But other than that, it was essentially correct, his retelling of it. Essentially what happened was he was under their tent. They're like, "Hey, man, you can't be here." He chimped out and said, "Fucking touch me, man. Fucking touch me." They were like, "Dude, just get out of here." He's like, "Fucking touch me. I dare you, punch me." And Austin's like, "All right, man, let's go." Stab, 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 stab. Tim Pool's like, "Hey, man, we got to hear both sides of this."
This testimony that sounds like a fight happened at a school. Then I've heard the argument, yeah, well, he shouldn't have had a knife. He brought a knife to a school, and it's like, okay, what kind of knife was it? Was it a utility knife? Was it a switchblade? Was it a machete? Like, did he have a steak knife? Was he coming back from culinary class where he had?
Oh my fuck! Are you kidding, man? Yeah, probably he was coming back from culinary class with his school sanctioned knives. We don't. Hey, man, what kind of knife was it? We don't know. Maybe it was a butter knife. Maybe it was a plastic picnic fork. Dude, he killed him, okay? The knife, whatever knife it was enough of a knife to kill with a single stab to the heart.
Fine Japanese blades for cutting cucumbers?
Culinary class Americans. Dude, this is so enraging.
I have no idea. You're allowed to carry knives I'm pretty sure in Texas, especially if it's like a utility blade. You're also not allowed to grab people. Nobody knows the exact specifics of this story with Carmelo and Metcalf.
See, I hate this legalism, but this is this thing that people do where they hide behind the law. Oh, well, you're not allowed to touch people. It's like, yeah, that's what the law says, but the law is not the same as what is right. And it's a sickness of the society to be autistic about the law and to not care about what is right. If somebody is where they're not supposed to be, they should be removed. And if you're telling them to get the fuck out and they're giving you a hard time, you should be able to just fucking grab them and push them the fuck out of wherever they are. Get them out of there. You shouldn't have to like call the police and wait half an hour to deal with some fucking loitering, transient, insane person.
Some witnesses said that Austin touched Carmelo. Some say he grabbed him. Whatever. The courts will play it out.
He probably like gave him one of the, like on the like the back of his shirt. You're like, "Come on, let's go." I bet you that's what it was. It was like kind of like one of these, like, "I'm going to grab you by your shirt and drag you the fuck out of my tent." Totally morally justified in that situation. Totally, yeah, invader. Thank you. That's a better word. Exactly the way you deal with an invader when you're approaching it from a sane perspective of this isn't going to escalate into life-threatening situation. If Austin had been a little bit more prepped for the realities of racial relations in America, he maybe would have been a little more careful.
If weapons are banned, he's going to go to jail. However, in a general self-defense context, this is why I'm saying the story I find so confusing. We have always maintained, when it comes to self-defense, it is not the responsibility of the victim of an attack to determine the extent of that lethal force.
Yeah.
If they are being attacked, their perception of how far that force goes is it.
I don't know if this is a different clip or what, because I didn't have time to watch these this morning, but I just grabbed them both because I saw them both on my timeline here.
For one where he says, what is it? Nothing matters but this. He was at a school event at the wrong team's tent with a knife. He clearly chose murder than to walk away, cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are
correct,
to a party
actually.
At someone else's house. And you are,
oh my god. Here we go with the fucking, yes, he was in the wrong, but imagine if I haven't watched this clip. He's about to do exactly what I just fucking said 5 minutes ago, where it was like, imagine if he wasn't in the wrong. Okay, you know what I mean? I guarantee he's about to do that. I can feel it. I can sense it coming. Yes, in that scenario, he's in the wrong. But imagine a different scenario where he's not in the wrong. What now?
cut and dry here. Nope, wrong. Imagine you are invited to a party at someone else's house and you are legally carrying a firearm. And then a fight breaks.
Invited is, first of all, a key word. So notice how you didn't come to the party uninvited in the fucking example. So already being where you're supposed to be versus being where you're not supposed to be. Did I fucking call it or what?
Out and you. Or like an altercation breaks out between you and some guy, and there's drinking involved or whatever. I'm not trying to make a 1-for-1 scenario. I'm trying to create a potential scenario separate from this one with similarities. You go to a party. Yeah, let's say you go to a party.
Just one important similarities, but one important distinction, which is you're not trespassing in my version.
Some guy starts saying stuff like, "Yo, man, get out of here." And you're like, "I can do what I want." I was invited to the party. Verbal altercation escalates. And then the dude,
if he wanted to give a quasi-honest thing, he would have said, you go to a party you're not invited to, and you have an attitude, and you tell the people trying to get rid of you to fuck off. He's such a fucking little weasel, man. He knows what he's doing.
You're standing there, and you pull your sweater back, and you've got a gun. And you put your hand up and say, don't come close to me, bro. I'm warning you right now. Do not come close. Do not take another step. Then the guy grabs your arm and makes a move, so you draw your weapon and you use it. Okay, make the argument you have no right to defend yourself when you're being attacked by a guy. Make the argument, by all means. Go ahead.
Different situation. So that change of you were invited to, you just showed up and you were trespassing and people who did belong there told you to get the fuck out. Everything hinges on that. You can't fucking trespass into somebody else's house and then kill them when they try to tell you to fuck off. And you refuse to fuck off and they say, okay, fine, you won't leave. We're going to make you leave. And then you kill them. You can't fucking do that when you're not supposed to be there.
I don't know the circumstances that you're in a place you're not supposed to be. You can argue it's that guy's house, and it doesn't matter. A guy can invite you into your neighbor could be like, come on over, brother. And then if he gets physical with you, you can defend yourself. And then what? The police are going to be like, well, you were in his house.
Right. Can you invade his house uninvited? Damn. Fucking come on, dude. Can you just walk into his house uninvited and then defend yourself with lethal force when told to get the fuck out?
It's like, yeah, you invited me in. It's like, the door was open and.
Yeah, still invited. Oh, the door was open. I mean, probably if the door is open in somebody's house, you shouldn't just walk in. And if you do that and they tell you to get the fuck out, probably you shouldn't be like, I can do what I want. This is my house now. I make the rules here. And if you don't like it, I'm going to kill you. Unbelievable that this is where we're at. Hey, what up, family? I'm a ding dong. It is I, your boy LP, and the clip you just watched is from my live stream show, The Daily Cope, which I do 4 to 5 times a week on Rumble, Odyssey, and my other YouTube channel. I will link all of them below if you want to check it out. And thanks for watching. Hope you're having a great day, and I will catch you on the flip side. Peace out.